Prince Aryan was not born for peace. He was born under a blood-red sky the year the dragons attacked. He grew up in the shadow of war. His cradle, a soldier's shield, his lullaby, the clash of steel. Aryan was different. He wasn't afraid. He trained with the royal guard, faster and stronger than boys twice his age. He yearned for the day he'd lead his father's armies to glory. But his father, the king, saw too much of himself in Aryan. He pushed the prince toward books and diplomacy. War, the king claimed, was a last resort. One day, raiders stormed the capital. The king, caught off guard, found himself cornered. Aryan, barely a man, charged into the fray. His wooden practice sword became a blur. He fought with the fury of a cornered lion defending his father. The king, shaken but alive, finally saw the truth. He could no longer deny Aryan's destiny. The prince was born to fight. He was needed on the battlefield. The king's heart swelled with pride, but also with fear. The king entrusted Aryan with a small battalion. His mission: retake the city of Eldoria, a vital trade hub. It was a suicide mission. Eldoria was a fortress held by the enemy's elite. Aryan rallied his men. He knew every one of them by name. He inspired them with his courage, his willingness to fight alongside them, not just lead from behind. He was no longer a prince playing at war. He was a warrior, forged in the fires of battle. The siege lasted for weeks. Aryan and his men fought with unmatched ferocity. They used cunning tactics, exploiting every weakness in the enemy's defenses. They scaled the walls under the cover of night, taking the enemy by surprise. Victory was theirs, but at a cost. Many good men fell that day. Aryan himself was badly wounded. He had stared death in the face and emerged victorious. But the experience changed him. He tasted the bitterness of war, the heavy price of victory. Aryan's legend grew with each victory. He liberated cities, repelled invasions. He became a symbol of hope, a beacon of defiance against tyranny. But war exacted its toll. Aryan bore the scars of countless battles, physical and emotional. He found solace in the camaraderie of his fellow soldiers. They were his brothers in arms, bound by the crucible of war. They shared stories, scars, and the unspoken understanding that only those who had faced death together could possess. Among them stood Kale, a grizzled veteran who became Aryan's trusted advisor. Kale taught him the art of strategy, the importance of discipline, and the value of mercy. He reminded Aryan that a true leader fights not for glory but for the safety of his people. There was Lyra, a skilled archer with a sharp wit and even sharper aim. Lyra challenged Aryan's assumptions, questioned his orders, and pushed him to be a better leader. She became his confidant, the one person he could always count on to tell him the truth, no matter how difficult it was to hear. The final battle was upon them. The enemy, a ruthless warlord who sought to plunge the land into darkness, had amassed a vast army. Aryan, now a seasoned commander, knew the stakes were higher than ever. The battle raged for days. The earth trembled under the weight of clashing armies. The sky was choked with smoke and the stench of death. Aryan, fighting with the strength of 10 men, led the charge. He fought his way to the warlord, their blades meeting in a blinding duel. In the end, Aryan was victorious. He struck down the warlord, shattering his grip on the land. Victory was his, but it was a bittersweet triumph. The land was in ruins, scarred by years of conflict. Aryan ascended to the throne, a ruler forged in the fires of war. He was no longer the brash young prince eager for glory. He was a king who understood the true cost of war. He dedicated his reign to healing his kingdom, to rebuilding what was lost. He ruled with wisdom and compassion, always remembering the lessons learned on the battlefield. He knew that true strength lay not in power, but in the courage to seek peace.